Hey everyone! How are we all feeling?
Yay!
Yeah? Do we like Five Nights at Freddy's?
Yeah!
Yeah! Do we like fan games?
Yeah!
Yeah? What about Roblox? Oh, not the reaction I expected. Maybe you didn't hear me right. I said, how do we feel about Roblox, huh?
Oh God! Oh, this guy stinks! Boo!
Did I miss something? Oh, that's... Huh. Well, how do we feel about FNAF, huh?
Yeah, baby! That's what I've been waiting for. That's what it's all about.
Hello guys, ghouls and gals, and welcome back to the archives. As always, I'm your host, Nick Nightmare, and as I'm sure many of you have picked up on, today we're going to be ranking 5 more FNAF fan games. But not just any FNAF fan games. Roblox FNAF fan games. That's right folks, it only took me 3 videos to resort to Roblox for content. I promise I have so much more planned, I just couldn't ignore these games. Roblox is a very interesting game to me because back in the day I remember every Roblox game looking like this. Basically Legos but worse looking somehow. And yet, despite that, Roblox has evolved so far beyond that nowadays I put more faith in some Roblox developers than I do in AAA developers themselves. Now all of these games are more recent ones. I am planning on making a follow-up video to this one at some point, going over a wider range of games in terms of quality as well as when they were made. But for now, these are some of the most famous ones that I could find. Now with all of my ranting and rambling out of the way, let's get right into the video. We are going to start off the video strong with the Roblox game FNAF Co-op. As the name implies, this is just a collection of the first 6 FNAF games in which you can play with your friends, explore the map, and just kind of mess with each other. This one is about as standard as it gets when it comes to Roblox FNAF fan games, which in my past experience have pretty much just been the same game, but in Roblox. Although this is the first one I've seen which has compiled them all into one game, with other games I've encountered in the past opting to just create separate games. But where this game goes the extra mile is with its other roles, of which there are 4. The night guard role is going to be the role you start out with, and your job is mainly going to be to stay in the office, watch the cameras, and stay alive. Next we have the janitor role, my personal favorite. Your job is much more perilous as you'll need to venture out into the pizzeria while the animatronics are active in order to clean up the mess left behind by the shift before you. You'll also need to repair arcade machines, a job which can be finished faster by the technician role, which is also similar to the janitor role, just with less to do unfortunately, as your only job is fixing the arcade machines. Both the janitor and the technician will have to work together with the night guard in the office in order to keep track of and avoid all of the animatronics. The technician is also given a bear trap, which can be used in one of this game's 2 original modes in order to trap the animatronics. The 2 original modes, those being Basement Hunt and Puppet's Revenge, are where the technician role and the police role truly thrive. The technician's bear trap is useful for slowing down animatronics, and the extra repair speed is useful for the generators that are needed to escape Puppet's Revenge, while the police role acts as another slowdown for the animatronics with his taser. These are both useful since in the original modes you'll be going against the marionette, as well as a strange original Endo in a free roam game mode, in which your only goal is to escape. Basement Hunt requires you to flip switches in order to open a gate. Huh. And Puppet's Revenge requires you to power up generators. I'm having heart palpitations, I can't breathe. Don't make me go back. Overall, this game is extremely impressive in its visuals, with characters actually having proper walking animations, gameplay staying extremely loyal to the games they're based on, and innovation, with the added roles giving much more variety to the gameplay, both for the newer roles as well as the night guards themselves. I think a good place to leave this would be a nice solid A tier. Unfortunately, the same can't be said for the next game. I'm not going to spend too much time on this game for two reasons. The first is that I try not to be overly negative on this channel. I am usually extremely generous with my rankings, and that doesn't change here as I still have to give some credit to this game. But the other reason is, I didn't actually finish this one. This game was the straw that kind of broke the camel's back. It was the last game that I recorded for, and that might have accounted for how little patience I had for it, but I just dropped this game very quickly, I feel. Forgotten Memories is the next game we'll be taking a look at very briefly, and unlike the last one, this one is completely original in terms of its story and gameplay. When you load up a game, you choose from one of the 4 preset models, with those being Amber, Jay, Todd, and Travis. Now, I can't say I was paying too much attention to the story, mostly because the audio was a little quiet and the voice acting was
1,000 more than you're rolling with.
I click skip.
Me and you.
Yeah, I'm skipping.
questionable, but who am I to talk? But from what I picked up, it seems that these 4 kids bought this building to put a Tony's Tacos in its place. And for some reason, they need to stay overnight throughout the game. But as is expected, the animatronics suddenly come to life, and you'll need to defend yourself. In the office, you have a set of curtains blocking off the puppet's prize box, which will slowly open themselves as time goes on. You'll need to keep them closed in order to keep the puppet at bay. You also have 2 doors for any wandering animatronics that may find themselves in your office, as well as a vent hideout near where the puppet is. However, you also have a vent reset switch and 2 generators powering the building, which you'll have to worry about if the respective alarm goes off. And this is where my problems lie. This FNAF building is simultaneously way too small, but also much too large. Let me explain. This building has 3 things outside of the office which will require the player to explore the rest of the building, with those being the ventilation reset as well as 2 power generators. However, while on the first night you have these helpful little signs telling you where to go, after the first night these signs are just straight up no longer there, and the building is consistently dark enough that it is possible you might get turned around. Now normally this wouldn't be a huge complaint for me. There's literally a game coming up in this list that does something similar, but to great avail. The issue comes from the size of the rooms themselves. You see, while the building is large and confusing, the actual rooms inside of the building are tight and claustrophobic. Now this is great from a horror perspective, but from a gameplay perspective, when a game has a time-sensitive objective that is being guarded by a wandering enemy that is essentially trapped in such a tight and claustrophobic space, that makes it nearly impossible to make it past them in a timely manner, which can lead to situations that just straight up feel unfair. On the first night, this is already on full display the first time the ventilation needs to be reset. Me and my friends were having so much trouble trying to reset the vents, and eventually we resorted to having one of us die near the office in order to draw Freddy out in order for the other one to make it to the arcade to reset the vents, while the third person stayed in the office with Puppet. Oh, did I forget to mention that? Yeah, on top of the 2 other time-sensitive objectives that you'll need to go out of your way for, there's also a third one that, if left unattended for too long, will kill you. Now, granted, you won't be having too many issues with the puppet. Freddy will be sending you back to the office enough that she doesn't really become an issue. The night that this issue goes from bad to game-breaking is on night 2. Yeah, this is where me and 2 separate groups of friends threw in the towel. On night 2, we're introduced to Bonnie, who spawns in the employee areas, which is where the generators spawn. However, these corridors are even more claustrophobic than the last, funneling Bonnie out of that area he roams towards the office. Now, not only are you unable to reach the generators, you're barely able to leave the office. You could try to bait Bonnie towards the other door and use that to make it to the other side, but once Bonnie spots you, He moves so much faster than you that even when you're running, he will catch up to you before you even make it back around. And if you're unable to make it past Bonnie or Freddy to reset their respective power or ventilation, they'll go out. The worst one is definitely the ventilation. Once you get to the point where you start running out of oxygen, there's just not enough time to both bait Freddy out of the path towards the oxygen and reset the ventilation. You will always pass out before reaching the oxygen. When you run out of power, time stops and Golden Freddy will gradually begin showing up around the screen and will kill you if you have no flashlight batteries left. This one isn't as bad as you have a little more time to reach the generators, but it also stops the in-game clock, so it's still just more of a pain in the ass than it's worth. But this game does have a Chapter 2. Is it possible that this game could be saved from a phenomenal Chapter 2? Well, this is looking pretty good. Alright, to be completely transparent, we did not even get to starting the first night of Chapter 2. It simply did not work. But just from first impressions, this one also doesn't seem great. It took the issues of the last map being too large and just made it even bigger. You also have in-game items you can buy to give you an advantage on your shift, but it seems like you can just buy every item in the game. Although I'm not sure if I'm actually buying these items. Once I try to use them, they just disappear from my inventory. Also, upon reaching the office and starting the night for some reason, I could just constantly see Mangle in the vents. Not like she was going anywhere, she was just crawling in place. Oh, also, for some reason, one of my friends who I played with, TheBenPro, had his camera locked in place upon entering the game.
Why can't I turn my camera?
What do you mean you can't turn your camera? What the fuck?
Why can't I turn my camera? It's just... Okay.
They all look so
I'm
fucking
permanently crippled.
shiny. Jesus.
Wow, this is awesome, dude. I just can't... I can't turn my camera.
Nah, you got that, Ben.
Great game, man.
You got that? Now, normally this game would be a very easy F tier. Half of it doesn't work mechanically, and the other half just straight up didn't work. However, look at this building, man. So much love and work clearly went into the art for this game, and it makes me feel bad that I just didn't vibe with it. The cutscene has voice acting. It's not the best, but they very clearly put some effort into it, as well as the designs of the characters and skins that you can customize them with. Just for the pure amount of work put into it, I have to at least give this game a D tier. Next up is the game I mentioned in the last section, this one being Eternal Nights. Similarly to the last game, this one starts off with a cutscene with you and your friends going off to explore the abandoned Freddy Fazbear's Pizza. Upon entering the building, however, you are locked inside and forced to survive the night against 4 withered animatronics. However, in the morning when you try to leave, Golden Freddy stops you and forces you to survive another night. The 4 main animatronics you'll have to watch out for are, of course, our main cast in their withered variants. Bonnie is the first to awaken and is more sensitive to sound than the other animatronics. Chica is the next animatronic and cannot see you if you are crouched down. Her cupcake is also roaming the facility and will latch onto your face if you get too close to it, taking out a chunk of your health and incapacitating you for a bit. But he can be blinded by just shining a flashlight in his eyes. Similarly, Foxy is the next one up, and upon spotting a member of your team, will enter a rage that cannot be stopped unless he either kills someone, is unable to find someone for an extended period of time, or is blinded by the flashlight. And finally, you have Freddy, who is probably the most dangerous of the animatronics, including Foxy. Freddy's eyes will not light up unless he has recently seen you or a member of your team, instead periodically laughing to notify you or your team that he is near. He will normally wait in a corner for someone to accidentally bump into him, and will only stop chasing them after they enter a hiding place and he fails to pull them out. Only after they hide will he stop chasing. Nah, fuck you.
Oh no, he saw me. He saw me.
Oh my god, he's opening the door! He's opening the door! He's opening the door! There is one more animatronic I failed to mention, and that is the puppet. The puppet plays her normal role in this game. She sits in her music box waiting for the timer to go out. You can charge the marionette through the cameras or via a button next to the music box. But if there's a security office that you can easily access the puppet through, and also use the doors to reliably keep out 3/4 of the animatronics, why would you leave? Well, kind of like the last game, this game also has power that will drain without your input, which needs to be replenished via fuses you can find around the map. You'll need to collect them strategically, as with no power, you also have no way to charge the puppet's music box. That being said, the music box isn't a huge issue as it would have been with the last game, because the timer is long enough that you'll have plenty of time to grab at least one of the fuses and recharge the puppet. On the final night, we get one more animatronic added to the mix, that being Golden Freddy. Golden Freddy will randomly appear around the map and has two modes. When he is sitting, the player will need to avoid his gaze, while when he is standing, you will need to stare him down long enough for him to disappear. Like his non-golden counterpart, Golden Freddy can also reach you in the office. He also starts the night by ripping out the 3 fuses that you start with. After completing this night, as you go to finally escape, Golden Freddy captures you once again and places you in the torture chairs from the movie. Admittedly, this ending is a little weak, and the difficulty of the game overall is a little ridiculous at times, but it never felt unfair.
I can see through the wall. Bonnie is standing there waiting for you to come out. He just turned back around. He's heading back towards where you were about to leave. He's in there.
Shit.
You might be... You're... Wow. Wow,
Oh, thank
holy
God.
fucking shit.
Oh my fucking god.
Freddy and the cupcake are on the left hallway. The cupcake's coming towards you. Oh my god, fucking Chica. That bitch. Bonnie and Freddy are in the wow.
Bro.
What are you even supposed to do in that situation, bro?
She didn't even see me. She
just ended up colliding with you.
Yeah. Like, are you fucking kidding me? Okay, so it didn't usually feel unfair. But putting those things aside, I think this is a solid A tier. We're staying pretty consistent quality-wise with these Roblox games, which is nice to see in the series. Luckily, the next game keeps up with the consistency because we've got another banger up next. This entry is going to be a bit of a strange one. While the rest of these games have been directly related to FNAF, this next one is actually based on an old creepypasta. An old Godzilla creepypasta. That's right, up next is the game Suitborn. Suitborn's office takes form of that of the FNAF 1 office. You have a generator in the storage room which you can recharge to keep the power on, and keep the time moving, since when the power goes out, time stops like in the Forgotten Memories game. During the first night, there is only one suit, that being the Godzilla suit. When Godzilla spots you, he will take chase, with the only way to lose him being to either return to the office or shut him out, or using one of the safe rooms around the building. However, these safe rooms do have a drawback, and now would probably be a good time for me to mention the anxiety mechanic. Over time, this little heartbeat in your bottom left corner will begin to fill, and will fill even faster while in the safe rooms. The more it fills, the more your vision will be filled with visions of the suit-born Godzilla. And if it completely fills up, it will kill you. Other than the generator, the other reason you'll be leaving the office will be for these side missions. On the first night, your only side mission is to take down the Godzilla posters around the facility. But on night 2, it gets a lot more involved. We start by looking for a basement key inside of the warehouse. Once we find it, we can access the basement, where our second kind of suitborn is. The Anguirus suits, y'all will have to forgive me, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. But the Anguirus suits are quieter than normal Godzilla suitborn, and can also access the vents within the basement area. In order to complete this night, we need to explore this basement area and put together the Cybot suitborn upstairs. This will also cause the Anguirus suits to move upstairs, as well as activating the Cybot Godzilla. This Godzilla will only move whenever you are looking away from it. And that's it. There are currently only 2 nights in the main game. There is also Suitborn Bloodbath, which is completely different. After avoiding an old animatronic within the warehouse and accessing an old computer, you are brought to the future? According to the monitor, this is the future of a universe ravaged by the atomic bombs. The only way to escape is by helping the man in the monitor by collecting these soul orbs around the map. Yes, this is Dark Deception, but Suitborn flavored. Or if you are retro and you prefer, Suitborn Pac-Man. There are a couple different threats throughout the map, the first of which is the Grin. The Grin will wander the map and will kill any player that it runs into. You can hear him as he approaches and sometimes outrun him and find safe rooms. However, if he catches you, then he will kill you and take one of your 3 lives. The next is the Ghidorah Suitborn, who will break through the ground. You can hear them rumbling as they try to break through, which is your cue to leave the area before they kill you. The last 2 are the Flying Suitborns as well as the Monitor Suitborns. I don't really know the names of these ones. These will either appear on a monitor within the maze or take out the generator in the middle of the maze, and will prompt the players to run to fix them before their timer runs out. Once you collect everything, you can finally leave. Overall, this is another game that's very good, and I would give it an S tier, but it's not finished. I'll try to update this if I remember in a future Roblox FNAF fan games video, but as of right now, this game sits in a nice A tier. As much as I'd like to give it an S tier, I do have to account for the possibility of the last 3 nights becoming completely unplayable, unfortunately. But yeah, I'd highly recommend this one, and of course, I plan to stay updated with it in the future. Now, on to the last game, and the one that made me want to make this video in the first place. Five Nights at Freddy's 2 Reimagined. Holy shit, this game is so good. I hate to glaze, but I mean, look at it. Okay, I need to calm down for a second while I explain this game. This game is a reimagined version of FNAF 2. Obviously. Fucking duh. Certain characters have different mechanics, while others just have their pre-existing mechanics enhanced in a way that makes the game a heart-pumping, adrenaline-filled experience. Let's address the elephant in the room first. Toy Freddy and Marionette are absent from this experience. Neither of them pose any threat to the player. Now, I would normally take issue with this. Taking content away from the original game should never be a solution to making a game better, unless it really does make the game a worse experience. However, in this case, other animatronics just do what they did better, and would be difficult to balance around them considering the gameplay changes made. Now, as for the game mechanics, we still have the Freddy mask, but it now only affects 3 of the animatronics, with those being Toy Chica, Bonnie, and Mangle. Toy Chica and Bonnie come from their normal vents, while Mangle will crawl into the office from the middle hallway. However, they no longer stop in the little vent doors in your room. Instead, they will bum rush through the vents, giving you mere seconds to don the mask. Mangle enters much slower, but it also takes longer for her to leave. But what about the other characters? Like, surely Foxy works the same. Well, kind of. Foxy can appear in the hall, and if you use your flashlight on him, he'll disappear. However, he can also appear in one of the party rooms, and needs the player to blind him with the flash beacon. Freddy acts similarly, starting in the main dining room and making his way to the party room in order to temporarily shut off your power. However, you can use the same flash beacon to send him back a room. As for withered Bonnie and Chica, they will both still come through your vents, but they're no longer fooled by the mask. Instead, when they're approaching, they'll make an audio cue distinct from their toy variants and requires the player to follow their faces with the flashlight, as they basically try to speed blitz you like a Pokemon using Double Team, or a Tracer in Overwatch. We also have a breaker box behind us that we'll need to use to reset cameras when they go out. And finally, the animations, man. When you die to an animatronic, they will have their own unique kill animations, ranging from Foxy actually killing you with his hook to Chica fucking curb stomping you like a mob boss. The game ends with William being caught by the animatronics and killed, but we're not quite done yet. We have one more night, night 6, and it's a point and click game. Now, I love point and click games. In fact, there's a particular point and click horror game getting a sequel soon that I'm very much looking forward to. And while the gameplay for this one is much simpler than your standard point and click puzzle game, it's still absolutely charming. You start the night with 3 uses of your flashlight. You'll need to listen out for movement in front of you, as the spirit of Afton has taken the form of Shadow Freddy in this universe and is hunting you down. Your objective is to free the souls of all 5 animatronics, with Golden Freddy being your last one. You can listen out for the area ahead of you, and if you think Shadow Freddy is getting too close to you, you can use your flashlight in order to ward him away. But be wary, as I said, you only have 3 uses, and there's no way of replenishing them. Once you get to the end, you try to free Golden Freddy, but Shadow Freddy is finally able to corner you. He immediately goes on the offensive, wanting to finally get rid of the one who found out his terrible secret, but you fight back, using the crank that you've been using on the rest of the animatronics in order to release his soul from Shadow Freddy's body. But, unfortunately, William didn't leave you unscathed, and your wounds begin to catch up with you. But as your vision blacks out, you see Golden Freddy's eyes staring into your soul, and as you fade away, you hear him say one final time, "Michael, you're broken. You saved us, so let me save you. I will put you back together." Cinema. Absolute cinema. This game is an easy S tier, and if you don't play any of the other games that I've listed here, please give this one a chance. I cannot recommend this enough. Like I said before, this is the game that made me want to make this video. I saw a friend playing it forever ago, and I just could not stop gushing over the animation quality. It is genuinely more high effort than a lot of Game Jolt fan games, and that's saying something. But unfortunately with that, my time comes to a close. I hope you all enjoyed the video. I had a ton of fun making this one. Special thanks to my friends who helped me record this video. Some of them have their own channels, and for those, I'll have them linked in the description and the pinned comment below, those being Minibotplayz and TheBenPro, and my friend Barking Blanket, or as you all may know him better from past videos, Swaggist, who has a Twitch, which I'll also be leaving in the description. Thank you all for joining me within the archives, and I hope to see you all in the archives again soon. Goodbye for now.